Hello there, welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff happening in the VTuber world, and today I keep my promises to cover the Silvervale situation. I'm sure many of you are already aware of the Sinder situation. Sinder was a VTuber who was friends with a lot of large indie VTubers in the scene, and it turns out she was trash talking them behind their backs, slandering them and lying about what they were, and so when she was outed there was a lot of backlash and no one accepted her apology. We know that Sinder tried to block 3 VTubers from accessing the artist Nanoless, and the 3 VTubers who were blocked off from Nanoless were basically Cottontail VA, Bao the Whale, and Silvervale. You've already heard Bao and Cottontail VA talk about their own situations, and now let's take a look at what Silvervale has to say about Sinder, the girl who made her feel uncomfortable. This is Silvervale's statement regarding Sinder and redacted, and let's take a look at the Google Doc. Silvervale begins by saying, "I shouldn't have to say this, but me putting out this statement is not a call for an excuse for anyone to turn this situation into a witch hunt. My intention for making a statement is strictly to give myself closure from the events of the past years and clarify how I have been personally affected." Sinder continues, saying, "I debated if I wanted to even say anything after being asked if I wanted my name in the original document censored, as the situation is much bigger than just my personal experience. However, after finding out how wide and extensive the transgressions were, I feel the need to give clarity to my situation and how I was personally affected." Silvervale says, "I want to note, as others have, that though a majority of the messages are from redacted, Sinder's manager, I find it impossible he acted solely on his own intentions without Sinder's knowledge or consent, given the extent to which he has represented her publicly and professionally." And now Silvervale provides some screenshots of Nanoless talking about the VTuber 1, and VTuber 1 is basically Silvervale. This is some Discord screenshots from the Nanoless Google Doc. Here we go. Redacted is saying, "I mean, like, if you wanted to have some kind of model exclusivity, what would you need to make that sustainable for you?" And Nanoless responds, "Maybe you can share one of your ideas and I can check what I think. I've got some ideas for this, I guess." Redacted responds, "I was driving, what are you thinking? I asked some help from my friends, they don't know it's you. So a monthly fee, calculating my monthly earnings. Also, how long would this be? And if this counts for models I already worked on." Redacted responds, "Well, I think the main things we're looking for are for you not to take on any brand new model clients, not to make any new models and outfits with Silvervale again." And this right here, guys, is basically an uncensored version of the Discord screenshot from Nanoless's document. If you remember correctly, like, the Discord screenshots from Nanoless's document had this section blotted out, but now we know the person that Redacted was trying to block access to Nanoless to was basically Silvervale. Redacted continues saying, "You'd still be able to work on models and outfits with all of your existing babies, and your artwork commissions wouldn't be affected. One of our concerns is that more nano babies means nano models don't have the same value anymore. And the second is that there's a few people that we just would rather not be able to have a model from you, maybe not any new babies at all. Reason why I brought this up at all is that there's been a lot of bias with another one of our partners with certain content creators. We'd rather these creators not have what makes Sinder unique, which is your artwork." And here Redacted is sharing some drama. And now we reach this Discord screenshot. This is an infamous Discord screenshot because it shows Redacted telling Nanoless not to work with Bao, Cottontail VA, or Silver again. And Redacted is saying, "What about we can pay this VTuber for you and you don't have to discount it from the next payment, and we'll continue to give you lots of model work, I think, for this year right now, but you don't work with Bao, Cottontail VA, or Silver at all again, models or art. I don't think you've ever done anything with Bao or Cottontail VA before. We also have another GS label for you too." Nanoless responds saying, "Is there any way to add a little more since Silver still asks for art every now and then?" Redacted is saying, "We would do it like when Silver asks for art, you tell her no, and then tell us to buy another art piece, like, so you still get a job from it." This part is super bad because Redacted is just admitting that they want to block Sinder from ever commissioning art from Nanoless ever again. This looks very bad. And Redacted is saying, "Is this about Silver's model, Nano?" Nanoless is saying, "Yeah, I want to take it, but I don't want to disrespect Sinder. But I just want to do pretty models, no hurt feelings." Redacted is saying, "Business is business. Nano, you're a freelance artist, and Silvervale is a long-time client, so it makes sense to continue doing work for her. I understand the logistics of it. At the end of the day, you need to do what's best for you. Nanoless responds saying, I really appreciate you for understanding my side. I understand your side too, but sadly it's something between you and Silvervale, not me. I shouldn't get involved in this fight. I just go art brr. You know, seeing all these screenshots, you can tell that Silvervale was done dirty by Redacted and Sinder. If only we could have some proof that, Sinder actually knew about Redacted's actions, trying to block Silvervale's access to nanoless. And it turns out we have proof now, because if you take a look at the Discord screenshots, there's a conversation between nanoless and Sinder, where Sinder basically acknowledges that she knew about what Redacted was asking from nanoless, which was to block Silvervale from accessing the artist commissions from nanoless. And this is the confrontation. Nanoless is saying, Sinder just wanted to say sorry for stepping back on the exclusivity deal. Wanted to apologize personally to you since I've only talked about that with Red. But I just don't want to be dragged on any personal issues like that. After all, Silvervale is still a client, and it makes me anxious and kind of destroys my mental to do this kind of deal. Just wanted to let you know I still love working with you and Red, but I'll understand if things don't work out because of Silver. I just love my clients, that's all. Sinder responds, saying, I get it, Nano, and it was unfair to push this onto you. There you go, Sinder is admitting right there that she actually knew about the exclusivity deals from Redacted. It was unfair to push this onto you, but it's just really confusing going back and forth about it. I just got compared to her a lot, referring to Silvervale, even still today, and it's like I'm always living in someone else's shadow, which is one reason why Red asked about not making any more models for her. And when you said, I understand if things don't work out, it makes me feel like you're okay with not working with me anymore, which hurts me so much. After all this time, I really appreciate you, Nano, and it's your decision who you ultimately work with. But this is how I've been feeling. Nanoless responds saying, I don't really see the point of keeping and thinking about being compared to Silvervale. You're so much bigger already, and you've done so much more. But I would never give Silvervale any priority over you. Also, there's not even any model for her being discarded. I just want to sleep clear-minded. Also, I'm fine not doing her models, but at least GamerSup's art stuff would be fine with me. I don't want to be 100% an asshole to her, that's all. Sinder responds saying, it's not me but other people's opinions of us, and I'm just trying to not get involved in any drama, late for that other people want to talk about comparing us. But I understand where you're coming from, Nano, there's no hard feelings. And Nano responds by saying, sorry about this, my mental is just a little weak. And Sinder responds, same girl. Nano apologizes again, saying, I'm so sorry for bringing this to you. And Sinder responds, I want you to get that money. The whole situation is just kind of sucky. I just want to get along. Nano seems understanding, saying, I understand if things don't work out about this. It would be mostly if you hate me for not burning Silvervale down from my list. Sinder would say, I would never hate you. Nanoless would say, I'm just an insecure bitch. And Sinder responds saying, I love everything we've done together and I want to keep doing more. People saying dumb shit online just makes me stressed. And now we reach the part where Silvervale is going to have a few words to say regarding Nanoless and Sinder. Silvervale begins the conversation by saying, I am vtuber1 in the screenshots provided by Nano in her document. I've been a friend and client of Nano for years, and seeing how she was manipulated and abused by Sinder and Red makes me livid. She is an absolute sweetheart and just wants her clients to be happy. It breaks my heart to see how she was treated as a tool and a resource to be used for growth, rather than a talented living person, and gaslit into somehow believing that how she was being treated was okay. Silvervale continues, saying, I'm so proud for Nano for having the courage to come forward to the affected people with all of this, to let everyone know how they were being unknowingly sabotaged. I've spoken to her privately and want to be clear that I have no ill will or hard feelings towards Nano or her involvement in any of this. I urge people reading this to try and understand the emotional manipulation on display and empathize with her situation. There is a lot I could say about how disgusting I find their behavior towards other creators in general, but I want to focus on my personal experiences. And now we reach the section titled Sinder and Die, with Silvervale saying, discovering that all of this was going on behind the scenes has been gut-wrenching. I didn't know, Sinder. We weren't friends. There you have it. We weren't friends. And we have barely talked. Even writing this, I do not understand what I could have possibly done to warrant the level of malice and cruelty shown. In our private interactions, I was as cordial as possible, but I just wasn't interested in associating with her professionally or being her friend. Ooh, Half words, shots fired. From the few uncomfortable interactions I did have with her, referring to Sinder, I had gotten the vibe that her primary goal was to climb the social and content ladder and grow her brand. Silvervale continues saying, I am fully aware of how common that attitude is, and that's just how you grow in this sphere. But I personally don't have the emotional fortitude or bandwidth to have friendships for the express purpose of growth. For the record, I think it's fine to have that view and approach to content creation, but I also reserve the right to simply not vibe with someone. I would much rather not associate with someone at all than pretend to be their friend for the purpose of growing my brand. The only time I had actually talked to her, referring to Sinder, directly was during my meet and greet at TwitchCon 2023. I just finished my meet and greet. As I was wrapping up, she walked directly to the screen to meet me and had someone else take a picture of us together. I was not informed of this picture or asked permission for it, and I only knew about it once I saw it on Twitter later on. And we have a Twitter screenshot with Sinder saying, "Stop by to say hi after my meet and greet. Both girls." I can't tell if you can see properly, but Sinder is basically this silhouette right here. The one with the red clothing, black miniskirt, and long hair that's slightly red, and you can see like Silvervale on the screen, and it's like an OTK mythic panel. See it right here. Anywho, we have a Discord screenshot. Someone saying, also, Sinder really loved meeting you and wanted to collab. So I told her I'd let you know, and I could throw you guys in a group chat if you were interested. With Silvervale saying, hello, I appreciate the sentiment, but I prefer to not do collabs. And this mysterious individual would say, no worries, I hope you're having a good weekend. Silvervale ends the conversation by saying, oh, thanks. I'm trying to just be busy, and there's lots of IRL stuff coming up. Sorry for not being interested in collabs, I just like to do my own thing, but I'm always open to messages. I hope you've had fun at the con and everything went okay. And now we have Silvervale talking about her experiences. After the meet and greet, she contacted my manager at Mythic to ask me to collab with her, referring to Sinder. I told them I would rather not collab, but accepted her friend request on Discord after turning her down. In private DMs, Sinder reached out and asked me to do merch or other various forms of collabs to be monetized, to which I again declined. I will always prioritize my mental health and peace over any potential profit that would make me feel used transactionally and put me out of my comfort zone. And now we take a look at the Discord screenshot where Silvervale is talking to Sinder. This is from 2023, and Silvervale says hi. Then a response saying, hi Silver, sorry for getting back to you late. I have been super sick from TwitchCon. I guess a lot of us got sick after the last couple parties. I hope you had a good time at your meet and greet. It was nice to see you there. But yeah, no worries if you don't prefer to stream together. My manager suggested something more. So like sponsorships, merch, music, or some kind of other project together that maybe Mythic could help with if needed. I'd love to chat more the other way. Silvervale would say, no worries. It's been super hectic and busy for everyone. I hope you're feeling better. I'm really flattered by the persistence, but I'm just not interested in transactional relationships with anyone. I hope you can understand. Now guys, this is important, right? Because this is the first time that Silvervale just directly said to Sinder, I am not interested in transactional relationships. So if, say, Sinder became even more pushy after this, that would be a bad thing. Remember this, it will become important later. And now we have a Discord screenshot from Redacted saying, like at the end of the day, it isn't about how much we make compared to her, are you sure? We just want her to recognize, hey, Cinder's a big VTuber too. She got there on her own merits just like you did, get along. That's not gonna happen, not after all this. And the marketing potential and money they could make if they teamed up. I just know anything we do, she's watching and will take from or try to outdo. OMG. Oh my god, why are you slandering her? Like, she hasn't done anything yet, right? You know the spinning figure we have on stream? Silver's figure was announced on Wednesday. No spinning figure. Cinder debut Saturday, everyone hears about it. Figure announced, spinning figure on screen with figure right next to it. Silvervale stream yesterday, first stream since Cinder's debut. Guess what? Spinning figure with figure next to it. Redacted continues saying, I think it's more like wanting her to recognize Cinder. Even though it literally doesn't matter, I feel like there's this unspoken competition between them. Like they need to one-up each other because Silvervale can't get along. But I also understand her point of view. A new VTuber who people say is looks, sounds, and acts like you becomes just as successful as you in a year. If she did recognize Cinder as an equal or a friend, then it would be like she's endorsing her own copy, or like I've seen some people say her replacement. They share a lot of the same audience too. And now Silvervale talks about something she's really upset about. Silvervale would say, I had a new Live 2D model in the works for my birthday with Nano, which was eventually cancelled. I was devastated as Nano was the one who originally asked if she could do this model because she was excited to make it with all the new things that she had learned, and my birthday was special. At the time, the reason given was health and stress reasons, which made sense given how much was on Nano's plate. And despite my disappointment, expressed my support for her prioritizing her health. Silvervale continues saying, I am now aware that the actual reason for her declining to work with me on my birthday model was external pressure from Redacted and Sinder. Words cannot describe how heartbroken I was and am. Hey. And Silvervale provides proof that Nanoless did approach her for the commission. Now before we continue, I just want to say, the fact that Nanoless literally approached Silvervale because she wanted to make a VTuber model for her and then proceeded to cancel the commission because of the shenanigans done by Sinder and the manager Red. That is very messed up. You can see that both of them, like Sinder and her manager, were like actively sabotaging Silvervale right here. Nanoless is saying, Silver, I have to cancel the model commissions. I'm sorry, my manager told me I have to cancel most commissions possible for healthy reasons. I've been working so hard and it's getting onto me. I really apologize for this inconvenience. And Silvervale would say, I was looking forward to it so much. I love your art so much and I've been so excited for a new model from you. I understand though, you have to prioritize your health and taking care of yourself. I hope your health improves and you feel better. Make sure to get lots of rest and relaxation. Do you know if you would be able to do it next year at all? Don't feel pressured or anything, just asking. Nanoless responds saying, I'm sorry, it hurts me a lot too. I just wish I could work on everything I could, but I believe I can still go for your model sometime next year. Yeah. Silvervale would say, that's okay, I know you have a ton on your plate and can't imagine how stressful it must be. Do you think you can still do the Gamer Subs tub art? Nanoless would say, oh yeah, illustrations are okay. Wait a minute, guys, are you seeing this? Oh my god. Like it literally skips to a Discord screenshot where Redacted and Nanoless are talking about not doing the commission of Silvervale. This is some messed up stuff. Like, Nanoless literally was the one who approached Silvervale to make a new model, and now he's rejecting the commission herself because of an exclusivity deal with, Redacted and Sinder. That's so messed up. With Redacted saying, right, I know, I just didn't think our other conversations sounded like I was trying to make you not work with her on a model, and her basically refers to Sinder because if you see down here, Redacted says, like Silvervale specifically. And Nanoless responds saying, maybe I just considered the situation too much. My mistake for thinking this way. Redacted is saying it's okay. Nanoless responds saying, but are we good for real? This feels like a weird breakup in stressing. Redacted would say, me and you are good, but I still have to tell all of this to Sinder. It will be fine. I think she's still sleeping. And now we have Redacted trying to ask Nanoless if he made sure not to tell Silvervale about the exclusivity deal. And Nanoless is saying, I try to be transparent as much as possible. I think it's more fair to both sides this way. And Redacted is saying, you didn't tell Silvervale you cancelled because of Sinder, did you? Nanoless would say, no, I told all of them it was health issues. And you can see Redacted has a sigh of relief. Nanoless continues saying, I would never blame anyone besides a meal. And Redacted is laughing saying, we never want to make you feel like we're making you or forcing you to work on or not work on something, especially if it's something you want to / don't want to do. And our conversation the other day wasn't meant to convince you of only doing Sinder's work. Again, sorry that it sounded to you that like I was telling you only to do Sinder's work. I'll message you later. Silvervale continues to talk about the situation saying, I didn't think much of it at the time, but Sinder messaged me on Discord right before my model was cancelled. She celebrated that we shared art despite the fact that at the same time, she and Redacted were actively working to take the potential for more away. And I think Silvervale is referring to the dates between the Discord conversations. Here is Sinder congratulating Silvervale on the 15th of November 2023. And you see immediately up here on the 19th of November 2023. You can see like Redacted saying, I hope Silvervale finds someone else, indicating that he was blocking Silvervale's access to Nanoless, or Silvervale wouldn't have art from Nanoless anymore. And it is disturbing to have, Sinder just give a congratulations to Silvervale and at the same time try to block like her model commissions. It feels very, how do you say this, two-faced? Anyway, Sinder saying, hey Silver, I just got your Gamer Sub stuff in the mail and it looks amazing. It's so cute that we both have Nano's art on our merch since he's both our model mama. Oh my god. And now we have some final words from Silvervale moving forward. Silver would say, Sinder and Redacted have spent years sabotaging me for no understandable reason. I have never done anything to warrant this other than just existing as Silvervale. They actively sought to get my models and art cancelled, and based on the messages I've seen and shared above, they seem to have not had any second thoughts about doing so. It's hard to express how crushing a feeling it is to be talked about so cruelly and maliciously, without my knowing, and to know opportunities and friendships were taken away for what I can only assume is spite and insecurity. There's no end to the amount of anxiety I feel knowing that if these rumors were expressed to Nano, I have to assume that they were expressed to others as well. I hope this document and evidence presented will convince you that I am not the person that Sinder and Redacted tried to convince people that I am. And Silvervale would end by saying, thank you for taking the time to read this, and I hope that any and all of the people who have been affected by this can get the closure and peace they deserve. You know guys, like, for now, a lot of people are trying to get closure. We saw a lot of responses by Bow the Whale, as well as a lot of other indie VTubers who have collabed with Sinder, giving their opinions on the situation, and so far, responses have been, how should I put this, emotionally charged. Like, they just don't like Sinder now. And so I think it's gonna be a while before any of the VTubers who are friends with Sinder get any closure or peace. But hey, they'll get there. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you for coming, thank you for watching. This is Nebula, signing out.